Hello, hello. So what you saw there, that clap that I did, was actually so that it's easy for me to sync my video feed with my audio feed. So whenever you do your sound, you're recording your sound like on a different device, and your video on a different device, then you want to make like a sound, like a clap to start it, and actually that's also what in the movies why they go action. That snap is how they link the audio. So they'll go find that in the audio because there'll be a flat line, and then it'll spike, and then they'll know that's how to sync up the audio and the video. Anyway, I'm getting right into things today. My name is Garth Prince. I'm talking about behind the scenes of being a musician, a content creator, whatever you call it these days. Everybody's doing something, right? Everybody's trying to do something in terms of multimedia, trying to make YouTube videos, trying to make music, trying to become a comedian. These are the types of careers that exist. When I was growing up, it just wasn't as easy to even try to learn these things. But nowadays you can find YouTube videos about just about anything, right? But what I'm doing today, and once again, shout out and thanks to Kids Up Front for having me, so that I can do this. But I'm talking about my behind the scenes and what does it really take. How do I do my job, right? So what I'll be talking about today is making beats. Like, how do you make beats for yourself? Like, I have my own way, but I just want to discuss different things. I'm sure there's lots of other videos you can watch too, but I just want to show you what do I do to make my beats. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the drumming on the desk stuff, because you'll see it's really a good skill to have if you're going to make beats one day, okay? It's actually a really good skill, drumming on the desk, to have that. And then I'll share with you a video that you can hear what my beat sounds like, but then you can also actually put into practice the drumming that I'm doing, like the desk drumming that I'm doing today. So you can put that into practice in that video, but you can hear that video. The music in the video was created. I created that beat myself using the tools that I'm showing you today. Or really just one tool. That's all I use. Believe it or not, one type of tool is what I use. And then finally, because it's our last day in the I've made 4 videos, and this is the very last one. I tried to think like what would be a nice way to end, and I thought that I would think of my top 5 tips that I have for a new artist, or just a person going into the arts industry. If you're thinking of doing it, maybe if you're still in school, so elementary, junior high, high school, my top 5 tips that I wish, when I was grade 6, 7, 8, that I wish somebody maybe would have told me. Now, some of these things I did do them, but it was by accident. Some of these top tips, right? I did them, it was by accident, and so I got lucky. So I'll tell you those tips too, and then in some things like in my life, I wish that I'd known them before. So I'm going to tell you, okay, I'm going to tell you all that stuff. But you know what? Let's just dig into things today. So let's start with beat production. Now, currently on my screen, and I'm not going to share screens because if you want to look into this software that I have going, it's called GarageBand. You can go and look at multiple videos to just talk about GarageBand. You can go and do that, right? And you can learn. If you don't have GarageBand, and this is GarageBand today, well, I'm also not going to try to share my screen. I'm actually using it to record the audio, because then it's going to be better than using the audio just directly from the video feed. Okay? So that's why I don't want to mess around by trying to share it and stuff. I don't want to make the audio go out of sync or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, you are so lucky that you live in this time, because you can go and learn about GarageBand. You can get GarageBand tutorials, but that's what I use. It's the software that I use. It's free if you have a Mac. Now there are other softwares. When I was young, there's something called Adobe. Adobe has what we call let's call it a suite or a package of lots of different programs, and it's about, like, you can subscribe and pay, like, think you pay a monthly fee, $30 or something. But Adobe has an audio thing that's like GarageBand. I don't know what they call it now. It's just that audio software names have changed over the years. There's FL Studio. FL Studio is another one. You can really just like search what is the best music production software, or you can search what's the best free music production software, and you'll find some. Okay, so that's first thing you'll need if you're going to produce beats. What I only learned later on in my career, the production of beats, is this thing about having like a USB controller or a MIDI controller. So how these beat software things work is they come in with like built-in sounds, and they come sometimes with built-in loops. So you can sometimes, some of them you can go in and they already say like hip-hop beat, and then you can click on, there's like 6 hip-hop beats, and you can choose, okay, I want beat number 2 sounds great, this is the vibe I'm going for, and then you can just change the tempo faster or slower to where you want it, and then you can add some piano or something, right, like some sounds. Some of them even have sounds already, like some bass sounds and stuff like that as well, but you need to develop your ability to kind of place a little bit of music. So you don't have to become like a super professional, but if you can play some piano, it's going to be really useful. And here's why I think I'm different from a singer-songwriter. Singer-songwriters that play folk music usually play guitar. So they are standing playing guitar. For me, as you'll see, I'm going over to, so you can actually see my setup here. The reason why I don't use guitar is because I use piano to program my beats. So here's my regular piano that I use to play. So if I'm creating a beat and there's any sound, even let's say the sound, we call it strings. Let's say, you know, strings kind of sound like a symphony, but most songs have some kind of a string in it, right? So if I wanted to program strings into my song, I can play them on the piano, and then I can go into the software and select the sound to change from piano. It can be strings, right? So I can do that. But today I have something different here on the table. This is a MIDI controller, and as I said, I kind of wish that I knew about MIDI controllers sooner than I found out about them, because MIDI controllers don't only have a piano piece to them. Now this piano piece isn't very it's not that convenient because it's not very big, so you can obviously buy bigger ones, but I'll be honest, like at the time it was kind of like just that's the money I had. I can't remember if it was like 60 or 70 bucks. That's all I had, and so that's why I bought this one. But I have to say, I still am able to do a lot with it. Now I don't use the piano. I'll show you. I'm going to turn it on. I'm turning it on so you can power it using USB or a battery. Okay, so I've turned the volume up. It's not going to be very loud. You won't be able to hear it, and actually that's why I'm doing my sound separately today, because I might be able to make it louder. So as you can see, the piano does work, but it's just very soft. So what you need to do is to go to the USB port here, and it's usually the same cable that goes into your printer. It's one of those USB cables that can go into a printer, and you stick it in there, and these things sometimes come with a cable. I think this one came with a cable actually. So that goes into it creates a USB port, and that goes into your computer. So when you open the software and you start playing, then that's like it makes that sound. But what makes this thing better than a keyboard actually is not the keyboard. It's the pads up here. Now the pads, how they work is they actually have different sounds, and you can hit them so that they can make different beats for you. So as you can see, the lights going on as I hit it. Now those are the two that I use most often, but I'm just gonna mess around with these because I don't know what the others do, because I only use those two, and I hope it's coming back to you. The reason why I use those two is because that's actually my bass and my slap. So there's another one. It's another kind of slap. So those are some of the different sounds that this thing can make, right? So an example, a beat that I showed you before, remember we talked about all sorts of different beats, but this was the beat that I showed you before. That's one of the beats that I use very often, right? So that's a beat that is usually not programmed into things like GarageBand. There just isn't a beat like that. So when you get yourself some kind of software, there's going to be some beats, let's call them generic, like beats that are like, this is what a typical hip-hop beat sounds like, or this is what a typical Afro-pop beat sounds like, or something like along those lines. And then what you can do with this is you can use that beat as a basis, so you can put it in and use it, and then you can add little things on top of that beat using this. You know, so if that beat's got something like this in it, then you can add or you can add some splashes, right? Like splashes in the song. So like, oh, every time we go to the chorus, we're gonna go boom, and then we're gonna go into that chorus, right? So that's what you can do with this. So as you can see, it's just there's so many more things that this thing can do, but I just wanted to show you this because it's the real kind of the basics, and this is what I use it for the most. Now I'm just gonna put it aside, and I'm quickly gonna show you some drumming on the desk. Basically some drumming on the desk things that you're gonna use in the video that I'm gonna show you. Okay, so remember we talked about you want to always have a bass, and we play with this part with the bass, and then you also want to have a slap, which you can do that, or you can even use your knuckles to knock. So I'm going to do that same beat. It's doom ka doom tak doom ka doom ka doom ka doom tak doom ka doom tak doom ka doom tak. Okay, that's a tricky one because the first one is like it's got like a bit of a syncopation into it, and the second one is straight. So this is a beat that takes time to learn, but if you already got it, you can play it with me. Doom ka doom tak doom ka doom tak doom. So that is always like, for me, it's the basis. That's the beat. They call it, you know, kind of like the foundation. Like if you were to build a house, that would be the foundation. So I usually will have that as the beat, and you'll hear in the video too. That's the beat that keeps everything together. Then on top of that, you know, I will, in my videos, I would then have people play other beats. So an example would be, in this video I'm going to call out doon, 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 and then you would play just like that. Okay? And then doon, again, I'm just doing it again. Doon, 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 doon. Okay, so that's the first rhythm. You just need to know 3 rhythms to play along to the video. Okay, the second rhythm is, it sounds like this. Dun tak 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 dun tak. Now let me ask you something. How many times did I say dun? Let me say it again and count how many times I said dun, and that'll help you be able to play the rhythm. Dun tak 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 dun tak. Now if you said 8 times, you were correct. So I say it 8 times, then I play it 8 times. So when I play it, that's when you play along with me, okay? So I'll say it and then we play it. Dun tak 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 dun tak. Got it? So the first one is dun, 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 dun. Second one, dun tak 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 dun tak. Okay, let's just do that one again. Dun tak 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 dun tak. Good, good. So that's 2 out of the 3 rhythms that you need to be able to play. And once again, I really encourage you to get, to practice with some of my videos and even other videos wherever you can find them. But my videos have a lot of this kind of rhythm stuff in it, because if you learn to play with your hands like this on the desk, then when you get a MIDI controller one day and you want to make your own beat, it's going to be so easy for you because you're going to be so used to creating a beat with your hands. That's kind of the reason, and I think that I was able to do it easily because when I got one of those MIDI controllers, I was able to use it right away. It didn't take me long because I was so used to tapping the beats already. So here's the last beat. Okay, this is a trickier one. So you got the dun, and then you take that same hand. So I'm going to take my left hand out first, just so you can see. Dun, and you take that same hand and you hit your tak. So you're going to do dun, tak. Okay? So remember that you use that same hand to hit the dun, and then the tak, and then ka. Because how it works is we're playing a rhythm that basically goes dun, tak, tak. So it's got 2 tak, taks. It's got the 2 taks out here. Okay? But it's just very, like if you have to do a lot of them, like tak 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 tak, it's very hard to say tak 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 tak. It's just easier to say taka 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 taka. It's just easier to say, so that's how we've kind of verbalized, I guess, that phrase. So we go dun tak ka, dun tak ka, dun tak ka tak ka tak ka, dun tak ka tak ka tak ka. That's what we're playing. Okay? So I'll say the rhythm for you and you count how many times I say dun. Dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka taka taka. Got it? Dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka taka taka. Okay, so here it is. Dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka 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 dun taka taka taka. If you're getting confused, remember that you're getting dun and then tak ka tak ka tak ka. We can also do it this way. Dun tak ka tak ka tak ka 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 dun tak ka tak ka dun tak ka tak ka tak ka. Okay, so I'll share the video with you. So I'm going to share that video with you. It's called Drum and Dance in the Park, recorded right here in Edmonton School Park. And what we did is, for that video, is we took an old folk song, and it was during COVID, so we kids weren't allowed to sing anymore. So what I did was I took the song and I changed all the singing to more like just speaking and also drumming and things like that. So sometimes you have to get creative as an artist, but I'll probably go over stuff like that in my top 5 tips. So what I ask is just please go ahead and watch the video, okay, and play along to the video. The video is going to prompt you to stand up. It's going to prompt you to do a dance move. Just follow the dance move. Just do it for fun. Trust me when I say this, if you do exercises like this, they might make you a little uncomfortable, or you might sometimes feel like, oh, I don't want to do it, stuff like that. But trust me when I say this, it just makes you better, a better musician doing things like this. When I first started working with my band, some of them, they just didn't really want to move as much, because that's part of the African music, and they're not from Africa, they're from here, and so they're used to standing still. But those same guys, 10 years later, I've been working with them for more than 10 years, now they're moving, and now they can see the importance of moving, because some of them are, they're teachers now too, and they see, well, you know, if we always do music and we're just sitting still, we can fall asleep and music can feel really boring. But if we get up and we move and we do all of the things that whoever's teaching, if you just do all those things, it actually becomes a lot more fun. So I'll share that video with you now. The video is gonna play, and then we're gonna get into the tips, right? The top 5 tips. Okay, so yeah, take it away. Drum and dance in the park.
Kalale, 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 ay, kalale.
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 Doom, 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 doom. 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 Doom duck, 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 doom duck. Doom duck, 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 doom duck. Doom duck, 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 doom duck. Doom duck, 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 doom duck. Doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka. Doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka. Doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka. Doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka, doom taka taka taka. Get up off your chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and right, and left, and right, and left. Kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale. Say it.
Kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale.
I said kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale.
Kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale mama, kalale.
Get ready to drum.
Get ready to drum.
Okay, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, so I got my old cell phone here. I'm going over, I was gonna make like 10 tips, but I just thought, you know, 10 tips is a lot. Like, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot to remember. Okay, so I said I would break it down to like just 5. So I've got five tips, you know, that I would give any new artist starting up, or suggestions or ideas or whatever it is. They're not necessarily just tips, but it's kind of like things you need to know. Okay, so they're not in any particular order. So what I'm saying is, the one I'm saying first isn't necessarily like the best or the worst one. It's just these are the 5 most important things. So they're not ranked in any way. Okay, so the first one is this is actually the title of a book, right? And I read the whole book, but it is so true. And I bought the book immediately because when I saw the title, it resonated with me as an artist. And the title, or the phrase is, talent is never enough. Okay, you can say that with me. Talent is never enough. Okay, and I can't stress that. I can't even stress that enough for you. Like, if you're talented in something, it's never going to be enough. It's just, let's say, it's just like the starting point to be talented. I'll tell you, when I started, there were many musicians that were much more talented than me. Many. Like, I was not the most talented person. But I tell you what, I was the most, you can call it resilient. I was the most persistent. I was the most hardworking. I was the most eager. I was the most enthusiastic. You know, I had all of these other things that I had. And as I practiced those other things diligently, you know, my level of talent increased. Like, my skills increased. So I remember, for example, the first time I stepped into a professional music studio, I sang in a microphone. It was a nice setup in Cape Town, I think. I sang into a microphone, and they played it back for me. And they said, now we're going to add some effects to make your voice sound, this is what they said, to make your voice sound full, to make your voice sound full. And they played it back for me. I listened, and so they played me what my voice actually sounds like and what my voice sounds like with all of these extra effects and things. And then I thought to myself, I want to get to a point where my voice sounds full without effects. That was my goal for many years. And it took more than 10 years, but when I sing now, when I actually pick up any microphone, before you can put effects on it, if I was to sing live for you, you would feel the fullness of my voice, and that's what I developed. And that is like, the difference between that is like, you saw what I heard back, my initial voice in the beginning was just like my basic talent. Now, why has it developed? Why is my voice full now? It's from all the years of experience, performances. I've done lots of shows that were free. I've done lots of shows that were uncomfortable, I've done lots of things in my career that, they challenged me, but I always kept going. So one of the main things, you got to be persistent, never give up, just keep going. That's one thing that you need to have in this industry, because in the arts industry, it's difficult, but guess what? Like, a lot of other things are difficult too. So when I say talent is never enough, even if you're taking sports, it's the same tip that I'll give you is like, and by the way, I was in the under-20 national basketball team for Namibia, and I can tell you now too, even in that sense, just being talented as a basketball player was not enough. Okay? I trained every day to make it onto the national team. I wasn't training to make it onto the national team. I was training to be like someone else. It's another story. I was training. I just wanted to beat my older brother, but I trained for a whole year, shooting about 300 jump shots a day. And that developed something in me, like, I was able to shoot jump shots in a game without even thinking twice. I could do it, okay? So the same thing applies to that. Your talent is never enough. Okay, let's move on. I won't be so long with the others. That one is just like, I had to make sure that you really get that one, okay? It's a big deal that you understand that one, okay? If you're going to make music, or you're going to make art or whatever, here's my tip number 2 out of the 5. I say you have to make more than just music. If you say you're going to be a musician, you got to make more than music. You got to make an impact. You got to change the world. You got to have something that's more important than just music, because I think that to just want to be famous, or to just want to be, a musician or something like that, is not enough to fulfill you as a person. So you have to do something that has a bigger meaning for you, or for your community, or for the world, right? And as I said to you before, for me it's like promoting peace, equality, and friendships through culture and music. something I thought over many years that's what I'm about. So that keeps me going when I let's say I have a bad week, then I can look back at the week and say, but did I promote peace? Did I promote equality? Did I promote friendship through my culture and music? Yes, I did. So at least, you know, that can make me feel better if, for example, maybe I didn't make money that week. You know, you need something more than just your music. Number 3, nothing can replace a good live performance. And this can be in sport, it can be in music or whatever. You need to train yourself to be able to put on some kind of a live thing. And because people just love it, you know, yes, YouTube, all these things, even movies, right? Like if you watch movies now, like chances are, well, they're not performing it live for you. But I bet you that most of those actors, they've got skills that they can do in front of the camera. And without that, being able to do that skill properly in front of the camera, right? You know, it won't translate as well when it's filmed either. So what am I saying is, it's really a good skill to have, to be able to perform or do something in front of other people. Okay? Just have eyeballs on you and do it. It's nerve-wracking, but nothing will grow you more than like taking that live show and making it, like having a goal for it, like, you know, I want a standing ovation when I do my shows, or this or that. Okay? Develop that live performance. Okay, the 4th one is do jobs in other industries and develop skills while you do those jobs. Okay? So some people like frown or they look down on musicians that have other jobs. So let's say you work for, I remember a lot of the musicians when I was starting out, they worked for Apple and this stuff. But I've worked with professional music consultants and things in the music industry consultants, and they say the best musicians are able to take the experience they learned from a job and apply it to, how does this apply to my job as a musician? So for me, I used to work as a bank teller. Now you might say that has nothing to do with music, right? A bank teller, the guy who counts the money at the bank. That has nothing to do with music. Well, guess what? Eventually I developed a stall. We call it a booth or whatever. And this booth of mine it's at all educator conferences. It's now at festivals and things. And what happens at this booth? We sell CDs, we sell books, we sell all sorts of stuff. And of course, what ends up happening? Money, right? The exchange of money. How is that money organized? Like a bank. It's counted. It's all facing the right way. It's very professional. And that stall of mine it's got a higher level of professionalism than, say, another artist or another vendor. Why? Because I took the experience from banking and I brought it into my music career and applied it. Anything, customer service, anything. You can learn something. Another example, this is the last example I'll give about this, is I worked for a company. It's one of the biggest companies, and I'm not going to name them or anything, in the world. And I worked in one of their offices in North America. I would say it's one of the biggest companies. I worked in one of their offices, and the funny thing was their furniture was always kind of like old. You know, their furniture was always old. They're just like everything in the office. Like you would think, because this is such a big company, that they would have the most expensive things. Their computer software was not the newest and this and that. And one day, one of the people that are really high up in the company talked about it, and he said, we don't invest our money into things. We don't invest our money into desks and this and that. We invest our money into our people. And that really stuck with me. So when I work with my team, my band, or whoever, you can ask my band or whoever I work with, if they say, well, this is what they want to get paid, I try to pay them even more than that. I would rather, spend the money that comes into my career, I'd rather spend that on hiring the best people than just trying to buy the latest gadgets. So my computers, they're never like the best computer. They just not. Why? Because that's just money that's gone. Like once you use it, like it's, to be honest, it's gone. Yes, you can buy the latest computer, but there's also other ways to make your old computer faster. There are, okay? So what am I saying? Doing jobs in other industries will teach you lessons that you can apply in your music, and don't even be ashamed about it, okay? If you have to do other jobs while you're getting your career as an artist going. And then the last one, so I can put this down because this is the last one. I say join, while you can, join some kind of ensemble or a choir. Okay? Trust me when I say this. That being in a program where you're kind of performing music for other people is going to teach you a lot of things. It's going to teach you about what do audiences like. I remember back in the day when I traveled with my choir, I remember just seeing audiences for the first time, right? And how do they respond? Why did they stand up at the end of that song? Why do they like this song more than this other song? Do they like faster music? Do they like slower music? Why are they even here? Are they here because they're just fans of they're just friends and family of the members of the choir? Or are some of them here because the choir has made music that's, big enough to reach even beyond friends and family? You can see the impact that that particular lesson can have, right, on your life. You can learn a lot because you can't just step out by yourself in front of an audience right away. Do it in part of some kind of a program in the city. Just search, if you are a guitar player, check what there are. If you're going to start your own band, a lot of the musicians, they've done that as well as a stepping stone to where they are in their careers today. So I went a little bit overboard in terms of the time today. I went a little bit over time. But here's the thing, I just really wanted to give you as much value as I can and share with you these tips because I really, looking back, I've been in the music industry for 20 years. And the things I've learned, maybe I would have done some things different, but also not. I feel like, I was lucky enough to arrive here where I'm able to be full-time as a musician, but I'll let you know, I also do work part-time as a youth mentor. And I only do that, say, typically 3 hours a day, and then in the summer. And that's just so that I can also go out into the community. And also, guess what? That's a really good skill that I learned, teaching, mentoring. That's another skill that I am learning as well. So, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much. It's been great. I don't know how it has been for you, but I feel like it's been a great journey for me to be able to share with these 4 sessions. It's been great. I really appreciate you taking the time and listening, and as always, you can head over to Garth Prince, the YouTube channel, and you can subscribe there. You can type any questions or anything for me if you want me to make more videos that are like this, or if you want me to address another topic. Thank you. Have a great one.